first fly I'm going to tie this evening is a Caddis Pupa, and I'm going to tie it in two different colors to represent the light caddis or tan caddis, which we see often in the summer, and the dark caddis, which we would find in the spring creeks early in the season, and in some places out west you find them later. Now, caddis live on the stream bottom in the larval state. Some of them build little cases or houses out of stream debris or pebbles. Some are free living and build nets, but once they metamorphosize into a pupa, they have all the characteristics of the adult caddisfly. You can see the antenna, the gills, the wings, the legs, they all flow back over a very bright body. So that's the idea that we're going to try to do. We're going to have a bright body and have a lot of materials that flow back and maybe trap some air or some air bubbles. I don't know if you're familiar with Gary LaFontaine, who's no longer with us, but he wrote the treatise on caddis. He wrote a famous book called Caddis Flies. He actually did scuba diving studies where he would lay in a riffle and watch caddis flies emerge and watch trout respond to them and how they would eat them. So he came up with a Caddis Pupa using a material called antron. And antron was developed by DuPont for their Stainmaster carpet. It's a triangular trilobal fiber, so if you cross-cut it, it would be shaped like a triangle. So when you spill liquid on it, it would be repelled. That was the idea of the Stainmaster carpet. Well, he used it in an opposite way. When he put it underwater, it would kind of trap air, so there'd be little bubbles come out of it. So we'll be incorporating some antron in this. The fly that he designed is a very excellent fly, but it's very busy, so it takes a long time to tie. So I wanted to come up with something that was simple, easy. He'll still have the reflective properties. Okay? So we're starting off with a size 16 curved scud hook. You can use a light wire merger one if you want to. And 6/0 tan thread. We're going to do the light version first. Okay? So we're just going to wrap thread on the hook, back to the bend. And the body is going to be made with a metallic ribbon. And for the light version, it's a copper-colored body. Put it on the back of the hook. Secure it well, moving forward with your thread. And you only need about 3 or 4 turns. Because it's flat like this, it's going to give us a nice, bright, but thin body. And again, this being a guide fly, we want it to be easy. Okay? So then you just cut that off using the back part of your scissors because there's a little metallic in this. Wrap that down. And then for the antenna, we're going to use a flank feather from a wood duck, just 2 fibers. So I'm just going to peel 2 fibers off. Got 3. And they can be fairly long. They don't have to be just the length of the hook or anything. They can stick past it. So a little pinch technique, put that on. And if you want to splay them a little bit, that's cool too. I have a friend who ties this fly too, and he doesn't put the wood duck antenna on. But okay, for the collar, we're going to use something called hairtron, which is a blend of hare's ear and antron. And antron, like I said before, has those trilobal fibers. This particular color is olive tan. You could use a pale olive. It doesn't have to be exact, as long as it's kind of light. And we're not going to use a lot of it. But as you can see, it's got the antron, sparkly antron fibers right in it. So we're just going to take a little bit, dub it on, and make a little collar in front of the antenna. Pretty easy so far. Stroke that back a little bit, make a little bit of a head, and whip finish. 3 materials, 3 easy steps. But we're not quite done yet. Cut the thread. What we're going to do is we want to brush those fibers back so that they have this look like we showed you before of all the materials, the wings, the antenna, everything flowing back over a bright body. So what I've done is I made a little Velcro butt brush with the hook Velcro part on a little rod. You don't want to use a wire because it's too aggressive, it'll rip your fly apart, but this is just about perfect. So we're going to brush it back like this towards the back of the fly. And you can actually pull out some of the fuzz. So what you have remaining is primarily antron fibers and long guard hairs from the rabbit. So this all flows back over a bright body. Because this particular stage of the insect is ascending from the bottom, I fish it beneath a weighted fly quite often, and I'll let it swing up in a bend pool or in a slow water pool. I'll do a pull pause to make it ascend. And that very often triggers the response from the fish, just the movement itself. I've also used it in tandem with the dry fly. If trout are rising in the evening to maybe a caddis, but they're not really taking your elk hair or whatever one you're using, you trail this right behind it, and it's just under the film, and they gobble it up as an emerging caddis pupa right into the surface. So that's it. Pretty simple.